Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to When Life Speaks. Boy, I tell you what, life was speaking tonight. We had to speak life back. We were having some technical difficulties getting to you tonight, but you know, anytime that you start something new, you're always going to have some kind of problems, some kind of glitches, some kinds of things that are going to happen. But I am so glad that you hung in there. And this is the first time we're going to try an open phone line. So we're trying to get everything together. Hey there, Ida. Good evening. Glad to have you on the line with us tonight. I'm happy to have you always with us. And let me see if I can find this number. For anybody who wants to call in, I'm just going to make sure, and Alan, if you can put a banner up, that would be great at some point. But the call-in number is 602-609-9374. That is 602-609-9374. So I thank you for being with me. And like I said, this is the first time we're trying an open line. But I wanted to let you know, we've been chatting about changes that you may make, changes that you may not have made, having to do with the 2020, the first outbreak, I will say, of the COVID-19 virus. And we seem to be doing much better, seem to be getting along okay, coming up out of it. Things were getting a little less stringent than they were in the beginning. And then we got the variants. We got the Omicron. We had the Delta before that. And we started talking about how things had changed, or if they had changed at all, things people were doing differently, people who were having COVID for the second time. Was it different than it was the first time? You know, what kinds of things you were really experiencing, because this has become seemingly a part of life. It's not life like we like it, not life like we want it, but life all the same. So I'm going to read some things from you from the village. Some of the village did comment, and I want to read some of those comments. The main things we were focusing on was, did you continue with the original protocols from CDC when this second outbreak happened, this second wave, as we're calling it? Did you continue? Do you think we became too relaxed too quickly? Do you think we became too relaxed too quickly? And did you continue wearing a mask, social distancing, and things like that? What kind of difference did it make? Did it bring more fear to you than you had in the beginning with the original outbreak? So, that's where we are. That's what we're talking about tonight. And again, I thank you for joining us. This is a little different. This is the first time that we are doing this way, so kind of bear with us as we try and go through some things. But I'm going to get started. I'm going to read one of the comments that came in, and this person said the pandemic brought a lot of changes to all of us. Some of us may have experienced a greater impact than others, but in the beginning, I was very aware and very conscious about the way I socialized. I followed the protocols outlined by the CDC, but as time progressed, it has become a way of life. And I think that's what we're all finding. It has become a way of life. Although I'm more relaxed, I haven't relaxed the rules the CDC established. My relationships haven't changed much, but my diet has definitely changed. Yes. I don't feel the pandemic was a major factor in that, though. I simply needed to be healthier. The longer the virus lingers, the more difficult it has become to recall what we once considered the norm. And I think that's very true. We say, and we're going back and forth and saying, we can't even refer to things as the norm. I don't know that we will ever get back there. I know that when she was talking about diet, and that came in from Linda Cooks, when she was talking about diet, one of the things that was a concern and continued to be a concern was if you have it, there's nothing you can do. You can't take anything for it. The best thing that you can do is try to build your immune system so that you are not as subject to it as you may have been in the beginning. So let's see if we have anybody calling in. The number is 602-609-9374. If you want to call in and comment, feel free to do that. I think we may have someone already there. So let me know if we do. Just put that in the chat and I'll welcome them in.
I'm here.
Yes, we do. We have Francina on the line. Glad to have you, Francina, and thanks for calling in. This is new for us, but I do want to have you just kind of give your thoughts. Give your thoughts on the change, if you felt there was a change between this second wave that came through and what we did the very first time around with the virus. So go ahead, just give us your thoughts.
Well, I believe the first time, I mean, people were fearful. They didn't know what to expect. So everybody was doing what they needed. Everybody was wearing masks, but a lot of people were also staying indoors. They wasn't coming out, because they was afraid. I
Mm-hmm.
think the second one, people got lax because during the summertime, we were able to go out and go different places, and so people felt that, and they got a taste of it. So now with this new variant, nobody they don't want to go back to the mask. They feel that their rights are being violated. Myself, I have not changed. I still wear my mask. I still do my social distancing. The issues I have is when I'm in the stores, people they in the store, they don't wear a mask. They still going around like everything is okay. But my thing is, I'm going to stay grounded. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to do what I need to do for me and my family, and I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna keep moving. Now I'm not going to stop living. I'm going to still enjoy life, but I'm going to make sure that I'm adhering to the CDC's guidelines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Francina, I'm not going to cut you off. I want you to just kind of hold there. I don't have another caller coming in, but so I may come back to you and ask you some questions. I see that there are some comments, but I can't see your comments. So I don't know what we can do to get those comments to come on screen where I can actually see them. But I want to, let's see, there's somebody else here that I wanted to read their comment. Marie Kinsella. Marie said she has maintained keeping her mask on even in small gatherings. Oh wait, I got Bernice here. Bernice, let me go on. Bernie says, I think some people really didn't take the coronavirus seriously until they were affected. And Bernice, I think that's absolutely right. I don't think that we knew or had enough information to think to explain or even be able to process what we were actually dealing with. And it was so new, it was so different, and it was moving so fast that I think all of us kept looking for an end date. We kept saying, oh, well, this will be over by spring, or this will be over by summer, or this will be over. And we went an entire year trying to adjust to what was happening. So I think when we thought the numbers were lowering, then not all of us, but some of us had a sense that, okay, this is over, this is done. But then when these variants came along, and it seemed like they were moving even faster than the original virus, then it caused this crazy kind of shift, because people who were doing what they were asked to do were suddenly now really fighting, the social distancing, and fighting the mask, wearing the mask, and feeling that their rights were taken away. Yeah, yep. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Now I'm gonna go back to Maria's comment. Maria said she's maintained keeping her mask on even in small gatherings. I'm with her on that. She said people have become more relaxed, and by refusing to stay covered, it has put everyone in danger. I want you all to weigh in on that. Do you think that there is this that people just don't seem to understand, that when they are not following the protocols and exercising their rights, that they are actually putting other people in danger as well? You agree with that? I think that's true also. Francina, you are still there. What do you feel about that?
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, indeedy. Um, Especially now, this this new variant are attacking children.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Kids are now also being carriers.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we don't we are walking around, some of us asymptomatic, but yet no, we're carrying the virus. So
Mm-hmm.
it's scary because it's put fear out there. But then again, a lot of people, they just feel that they have a right, if they choose not to wear one, that they
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have to, and nobody should have to take that right away from them. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're
Yeah.
not looking at uh, how it's affecting other people. They just worrying about themselves.
Right.
That's
Right.
being selfish.
Now, some people, we were asking about church, those who go to church, and Marie was saying that masks are required in her church, whether or not you have been vaccinated, and that they do maintain social distancing. And I think Bernice said her church closed and never reopened. So that puts you in a predicament, as to where you would go, and where you would be able to worship. Let me see. Refuse to allow myself to settle at a house of God just to say I attended a church service. I refuse to settle for what I know is not God's best for my life. I know. And it gets to be a little tricky. Now, at my church, we do mass, we do social distancing, and we also have a main sanctuary, and we have an overflow room. So people who are not comfortable being in a large gathering can go to the overflow room, so they at least have an option as to where they will uh, will be comfortable in worshiping in that sense. Francina, when you were talking about the children, I was also uh, thinking about the fact that they were not able to get vaccinations for a while. It's very difficult, I think, with children anyway, because they can't really tell you sometimes how they feel or what they're feeling and what they're really going through. But I think that with this new wave, it just seemed to be, and I don't know whether anybody else felt this way, but it seemed to be more. Uh, it spread more quickly. It just seemed like we didn't have an opportunity to adjust at all. So there was some kind of adjustment period in 2020. But when these new variants came up, it was quick and people were being hit very fast. And it wasn't, you could have one person in a household test positive and then another person in the household not test positive. The quarantine periods kept changing and going from one thing to another, and I think that made a difference in how we handled it. And I do think that fear became a part of it. I've got some other comments there that I can't see, so if you could put any of those up for me, Alan, that would be great. And I can catch one or two of those as they are coming in. And I want to know, is this is like I said, a different format. Some of you have not called in yet. I want you to try and do that. To just see how it feels to you, because we are always doing different things. And yes, Ida agrees. Thank you for that, Ida. And let me know, let me know if the phone platform is something that you would like to see us continue, or whether you just like us to deal with the comments as they are written to us. So I want to read something from Charles Durant here. Charles was saying that life as we used to know it is no more. And I totally agree with that, Charles. I don't think we will ever go back to where we are, where we were before. He says our normal day-to-day operations are now virtual. Fear has crept in and replaced confidence. Freedom now is at a cost and a price. We're being forced to make life decisions on a daily basis. And I think that is a profound statement. We are forced to make life decisions on a daily basis, the things that we have to choose to do, and the way that those decisions are made. It says prevention is key. That goes back to our immune systems and making sure that we're getting the vitamins and the doses of those vitamins that we need. And he says the only way to contain this is to be aware of it. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And I don't know. I don't know that I can't. I think part of the problem for me is that I don't see the end. I don't see the end. Um, there are some things that happen, and you can say, "Oh, there's 6 weeks for this, or there's going to be 3 months for that, or this is going to happen, and that is that." And we have not found a way to really see when this might be over. We don't see it. I just says I'm very concerned about, yes, about nursing home patients. They are not going out in public, so it is being brought in to expose this vulnerable population. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Francina, you're still on the line, so I got you still. And you have been in nursing for uh, many years. Um, what do you think, as a nurse, as a caregiver, um, what do you think would help with the nursing home situation that Ida was talking about?
To be honest with you, I don't really know. I really can't say because you have people from the outside coming in, and these patients have to be cared for.
Hmm.
And although they are doing, or we pray that they're following protocol, it's so difficult. Um, they can't have they limited family members, if any. to be able to come in. So we know that is either the nurses or the doctors, whoever's coming in the facility is a carrier, not aware of it. So when they go in to care for these residents, they're passing it to them. So I don't know how we're going to ever be able to get that under control. And that's the sad part about it. You can't not have anybody coming in there because then they won't be nobody there to take care of them.
Right. But are they doing it is part of the, do you know, does anybody out there know whether or not the current protocol for nursing homes, how frequent tests have to be done? I know there's some people that depending on where they're working, that they have to be tested on a weekly basis and things like that. Is that true? Does anybody know if that is true in the nursing home? And if it is, do you think that that helps at all? I know nursing homes are a concern, and I tell you, daycare facilities have been a concern. I know several people who work at daycares, and they have, it just seems like every few weeks they're closing again. So does anybody have any information on that or any feelings about that when it comes to nursing homes and daycare centers as to what could be done that's not being done in order to stop the spread of this? And look, guys, I know we are not CDC. we we do not have all the science, we don't have all the research, but we do have our feelings about this, and we are all a part of this. So if you've got any weigh in on that, just let me know. I've got some comments sitting out there. I'm almost afraid to hit the button because I don't want I don't want to disturb anything. We had such a hard time coming in. So if there's anything we can do, Alan, to pull in some of those comments, I see a number there of 13. So if we can, that would be great. Angie, hey there, Angie. Angie says we have to test every morning before we clock in. And you are in banking, I believe. You're in the banking industry. Oh, you did. That's right. You worked part time at a facility. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Zerlina says weekly testing is going on for one facility that I know of. Good. Very good. Very good. And that's really probably all that we can do. And I have a question also. I don't understand, and maybe somebody has an answer for me. Maybe somebody wants to call in and talk about it a little bit. But I don't understand the people who know that they are positive and continue to go about their daily whatever. They continue to go to work. They continue to interact with people on a great level and not take any precautions at all. But yet they know that they are positive. So if anybody can or wants to weigh in on that, our number is up on the screen, 602-609-9374. Or you can type something in the comment section on that. Let's see. Let me see. Uh, okay. Maria was saying that it makes her look at social gatherings and just outside, period. Uh, for years, we have been going without masks, and this is interesting. For years, we were going without masks and breathing in all kinds of toxins. And now it's like, to wear a mask is the worst thing in the world. It's sad and crazy at the same time to know we have been subject to danger for years. Um, she does applaud the many different scientists who are researching multiple diseases and germs daily and trying to keep us safe, even if everyone doesn't want to pay attention. Even if everyone doesn't want to pay attention. And I wonder about that. I wonder, are we just not paying attention? Or do we really think that we are immune from this? Do we think that we are totally over this. I think Omicron and Delta let us know, there is still a possibility here of something else happening and something else going on. Ida said the first year I saw Walmart workers going through a station before they clock in, and restaurant workers trying to buy their own thermometers. This seems to have gone away. Yep. Yeah. I don't think that we are taking the precautions we did in the very beginning. Uh, and I'm not sure why. I kind of think we still should. The elderly, children, and people with health issues have and compromised immune systems. And I think weekly testing of the clients should be mandatory for all facilities. I think you are absolutely right. I think you are absolutely right, and I would think that that's something that you would want to do. I've had to take a test, and it's not that difficult. It is not that time consuming. I took rapid test; it was available right away, and it wasn't that hard to do. I just think in my head, uh, I would have some concern for the possibility of putting someone else at risk, and that's the piece that I have trouble with. Because there are we don't know where this comes from. We don't know how people get it. We don't know why some people in a household get it and other people don't get it. But I know if I have it, I want to be careful that I don't spread it to anyone else. And that's where I have a problem. I just don't know how we're going to be able to contain that or change that. Do you find that in 2020, when you first heard about the virus, yeah, Angie says yes, people seem not to care about others. How do we fix that, Angie? People don't seem to care about others. This second wave has come through. A lot of people got sick really, really quickly. I think because some were vaccinated, um, that it didn't hit them as hard. I'm hoping that's the reason that it didn't hit them as hard. But when you say people don't seem to care, I can't remember because I can't see your exact comment. But I have a responsibility, I think, uh, as a believer, virus or no virus, positive or negative, to care about my brother, care about my sister, to want to see them well, and to want to see them whole. So, how do you think we can change the narrative on that and be people who are concerned about one another, who have compassion for one another, empathy for one another, looking out for one another, and all of those things, which I would think would be paramount given the situation that we're in, that it would be elevated as opposed to being reduced. Anybody got a comment? Francine, you're still on the line. Do you want to comment on that?
Well, first I want to say this. My granddaughter, every Sunday, they have to test. They have to do a COVID test every Sunday, and send it in, so they'll have it before they come to school on Monday.
Okay.
And they live in Maryland, so yes, and they supply the test. They supply them with the test. They supply them um, with a 2 week supply. But every Sunday they have to send in a test. Um, and what was your question now?
How can we, as believers, and as our and people who are supposedly conducting ourselves in a Christ-like manner? Angie had made the point of saying we just don't seem to care. We just don't seem to care about other people. And my thing was, how do we change that narrative? Because whether you have COVID or not, we should have empathy and compassion for our brothers and sisters. So instead of that being heightened because of this pandemic, it seems to be lowering. So my thing was, what can we do to change that narrative? How can we change that narrative?
Honestly, we can't because people are going to do what they want to do. They are individuals, and we have no control over what others do. We only have control over what we do. So we just got to continue to protect ourselves, and as we are protecting ourselves, we're also protecting others. And it is a shame because if you get in, I've talked to some different people who have not had vaccinations as well as not wear masks, and they said they don't feel that any that they should be mandated to do it. But not only that, they don't know what's in those vaccinations. They don't know. People can be giving you anything, and there's not enough information, on it, so they're not going to subject themselves nor their children to it.
I mean, if that's the way people feel, and we can, dialogue from now until um forever, about people not trusting.
Hmm.
Uh, and I get that. But the part that I don't get is my, what do I want to say? My lack of whatever care or concern, such that if I know that I am sick, then I continue without any thought for anybody else. That's the part I really have a problem with. It's like telling people, you know, don't send your children to daycare if they're ill. Don't send them to school if they're ill. And it's funny because when people send their kids to preschool for the first time, and they start getting colds and they start getting this and start getting that, and the first thing somebody asks them, are they in preschool now? Because people don't are not accountable for exposing other people to whatever it is that they have, or whatever it is that is going on with them. And we got to do better with that. You can do I don't have a problem with you doing what you want to do for you. My problem comes when what you want to do for you is now putting me at risk. Is putting me at risk.
I want to comment on that also because I've heard some talk. Some people, and I've heard some say, the reason why they went back is because they're the only income or breadwinner in their home, and if they don't go to work, then they can't pay their bills, then they can't take care of their children, their responsibilities. Which to me, that's a twofold because if you know you got it and you pass it on to somebody else, you still gonna have to be home. You're still not gonna be able to work. And my thing is, you can go to your job and if you got sick time, you can take time off and still get paid.
Hmm.
So I don't understand that part, but I've heard that as well. I have responsibilities, I have bills to pay, and me being home, is not gonna get that taken care of. And so again, people have all different type of excuses or reasons for why they still go even though they're sick.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't know whether any of you have, but I have not heard of any bad spikes lately. I could be totally off base with that, but I haven't heard of any. And I'm hoping that we are uh, past the worst of it, and that we will be able to move forward a little wiser, just a little bit wiser. And I do want to, before we get off, we got kind of a short show tonight, but I want to be sure to give reference to, and give applause to, and give appreciation for um, those who work in environments that put them at risk in order to keep us safe.
Hmm.
The EMTs, the nurses, the people who work in the nursing homes, the people who, and you're talking about not wanting to lose a check and wanting to lose income and all of that, the people whose jobs require them to be in environments where people are dying from uh, this pandemic and the things that they have to do in terms of sometimes not being with their own families because they are somewhere taking care of somebody else's and somebody else's family member. I want to ask about one other thing before we get off the line, and that is the issue of isolation. Um, how if any of you out there have had to deal with uh, being positive and having to quarantine, or know people who have had to quarantine, and the quarantine period this time was a lot shorter than it has been at other times. But if anybody, do you have any comments that you want to make about dealing with the issue of isolation? You can feel free to put it and type it in the comment section now. You can feel free to get in on the call in line. Yes, yes, Angie, and we have to. And sometimes it's just like we do, we encourage people to do with people who are in the military. You know, some jobs have COVID funds set aside for employees to get vaccinated and still get COVID. Wow, I applaud them for doing that. I didn't know that was happening. But when you see individuals that you know are nurses or work in the healthcare industry, or any of those things, tell them thank you. Just tell them thank you. Like we see a military person, when we say thank you for your service, just tell them thank you. Just tell them that you appreciate them. I think it will go a long, long way. um, Okay, okay. Anybody have any comment on the isolation piece? Francina, did you have any comment on that before we close out tonight?
Um,
And if you don't, it's okay. I know I got you on the spot, but I got you on the spot because you were a faithful caller.
no, but I'm gonna say, oh, somebody got something on there. For me, because I'm able to get out and at least walk, I'm able to
Mm,
get out of my house and I can walk. That helps me a lot from being isolated. Because when it first started, I found myself eating and eating and eating all times of the day, eating at night, to
mhm,
satisfy myself because nobody was around. I didn't really, and so that kind of got me a little bit. But because I was also able to, we were doing streaming. Our church was doing streaming on online, so that also helped me because I had something that I could look at that was positive and that was feeding me. So it was helping me to get through it. But now I'm much better now. I'm in a better place now, and so it doesn't affect me much now.
mhm, mhm. I think the beginning of it, I know I saw Angie say she was isolated during her birthday. I remember, Angie, that you had such a huge celebration plan and you weren't able to do any of those things. And I think just, not being able to be around people or touch them, I think it was more difficult not being around people and not being able to touch them than it was to not be around them at all. But I do think that we have come a long way. I am glad that everybody on the line is safe. I pray that we continue to be safe, stay safe, that we take care of ourselves, that we take care of build our immune systems, get your zinc, your D3, up that vitamin C, get your turmeric. There is a vitamin out there now. It's called 7-in-1, 8-in-1, where instead of having to take different dosage of your zinc and all these other things, they have all of those vitamins in one pill, and you can take that, and it does have the dosages that are recommended. So we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep being aware of one another, and we are going to pray, and then we're going to pray, and then guess what else we're going to do? We are going to
Right.
pray. That's exactly what we are going to do. Look, guys, I thank you so much. I thank you for being patient, number one. I thank you for joining the broadcast, number two. We have some things coming up, and for those of you who are on the line, for those of you who are on the line, I want you to listen very closely because I want you to respond to this, okay? Uh, there are three potential topics that have been sent in. I asked for the village to give us some ideas of things that they wanted to discuss. So I want you to just tell me. This is number one. Number one topic for discussion is knowing when to love from a distance and when to work toward restoration. So that's the love question. That's number one, love topic. The second topic is living out of the place of yes. Second topic, living out of a place of yes. And this is about our insecurities and fears and things that hold us back when opportunities present themselves. Yes, Angie. Yes, prayer is the answer. So, number one, knowing when to love from a distance, when to work towards restoration. Number two, living out of the place of yes. And number three, issues of finances, long term, short term goals, things of that nature. So, put down a one, a two, or a three in terms of topics that you would like to see us discuss. Again, number one has to do with love. Number two has to do with the place of yes. And number three has to do with finances, all things financial. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to put your numbers in. Francina, thank you for putting your number in. Angie, Ida, anybody else out there? Angie's got number one. Zerlina, do you which one would you prefer to be the next topic? We got a lot of them coming up and a lot of things that you want to talk about. So let's put that in. We got a one, we got a two, we got a three. Let's see who else we've got down there. So just put them in before we close out. If you go back and watch the replay, if you share the broadcast with anyone, just tell them to vote. We want to see what everybody wants to be talking about. And this is a little different. I want you to send me your comments and to speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. Send me your comments about this format, about the ability to call in, about the village. Just, we want to be able to give you the programming that you want, the programming that that works for you, that's interesting for you, that's uplifting for you and encouraging for you, and it's got topics that you really want to talk about. So I need to hear from you in order to do that, because you know what, you'd be surprised, but I can't do this by myself. I feel lost here without Lynn or one of my guests. I thought, oh goodness, I'm all by myself. So I really need to hear from you. I want to hear from you. And I want you to just hang in there with us. We've got great things coming up and we've got great guests coming up. And we just want to do what will work for you so that when life speaks, you know what the rest of it is. You'll speak life. So come back next week, 7 p.m. See what we got going on and what we've got new and what we have on the horizon. Because maybe next week I'll be able to tell you about some things that we've got coming up. That's it for me for tonight. Like I said, come back 7 o'clock every Thursday evening. We are going to be right here, and I want to see you right here. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Be safe, stay safe, and I'll see you back here next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. God bless.